Peace and blessings, blessings and peace. It's the boy Jarmel Reece, and I want to share my experiences with you. If I had to put my life in one word, I would have to say ridiculous, man. From growing up in one of the worst neighborhoods in St. Louis, Missouri, launching a successful music career, recording with some of the top names in the industry, and launching my own clothing line, traveling the world, discovering the power behind yoga and meditation, and how it can heal the mind as well as the body. So tune in to my show, Just a Thought. Follow the story, like the page, subscribe. Let's write the rest of the story that you've always dreamed of. Peace and blessings, blessings and peace. It's the boy Jarmel Reece. See you soon. Peace and blessings, blessings and peace. It is another week of Just a Thought. I'm so glad to be here with you guys, man. I hope you guys had a prosperous, great week. Back with my co-host, guest host, superstar host. Got my Jasmine in the building, as usual.
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Yes, yes, yes. And we have Ann here as well. So, Ann, what do you want to connect with people today about?
All right. I think we should have a conversation about back to basics. It's back to school. It's it's kind of like a new beginning. I think people even think of it more like a new beginning than they do in January, connecting to routines and what's next. And I know we talk a lot about how in the wellness industry, people can talk about, physical wellness and nutritional wellness as this binary thought that if you do these two things well, you've got it set up for life. But we're forgetting all like the mushy middle, the fun middle, the middle of the Oreo sandwich where we're talking about emotional, social, sexual, health, digital wellness, financial wellness, some of the things. So I'd love just to have some conversations. I know we're going to be bringing on some incredible guests. But let's talk about, kind of our experiences in those realms, maybe even bring in a little of our expertise. What do you think if we start there?
No, that's good with me. That's good with me. Jazzy, what you think? You want to go ahead and lead this off?
Sure. Back to school, I think, comes with many different things, right? So when we talk about it, what does it look like family-wise? You're getting back into your routine. What does it look like going back to school? Well, you're moving up to a new grade. You got new peers. A lot of different things are approaching. Because when I think of back to school and being in that place, sometimes you have a lot of anxiety, right?
Sure.
You're going back in. I'm in this new grade level. Now it's like, what do I do now? What is that like? Because it's totally different now.
I agree.
Totally different.
I agree.
So I think those things are important right now for parents to also too, like when your kids come home, talk to them. How was your first day? Watch body language too, because you never know what's going on with. Are they really okay? Are they nervous? Because bullying starts early too. Like, just really touch on it. Not for all kids. Some kids are really like that outspoken and they're good all the way around. But just really communicate connectivity with them.
Connectivity. I think connectivity is definitely key where we talk about the social.
Social, emotional.
Social, emotional. Because the thing of it is that during that whole COVID thing, we got to realize that these are the kids that went through COVID.
You're right.
And these kids are actually more disconnected. And more connected to their phone than they are connected to their parents or even to their own emotions. So they're taking on emotions that they may be seeing through their phone, through this. And like you said, bullying. Bullying comes from what you see. Where it comes, and it's so many different things. And I think we have to still be aware of that. That these kids actually went through something that we could never, ever understand.
And one of the things too with that, and at the risk of sounding somewhat controversial, but in specific, if we're kind of going back to COVID and talking about that, you also have to forget that the people in the spaces, the educators, the coaches, it was a lot for us to deal with during that time.
Really? I was one of them.
And there wasn't a lot of grace. I mean, there wasn't a lot of grace for us. Is that while families were navigating new stuff, we were also navigating new stuff.
Absolutely.
And by the way, our families were also home.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
absolutely right. So you had to be a teacher and have to deal with the same things.
Yeah.
And have to continue to kind of stay on the schedule.
Sure.
That's definitely, we didn't think about that stuff.
Well, how about this one thing? How about this? You know, so first of all, digital detoxing doesn't work because of exactly what you're saying.
Yep.
It's here forever. So we have to learn to live with it. We need to flourish. We need digital flourishing, right?
Yes.
But how about something as simple when we're watching a TV program together, super fun, super entertaining. What if the boundary, we're going back to boundaries, what if the boundary is nobody gets to be on a device, the device is the television? What about that? Is that a reasonable boundary?
That's perfect.
It's perfect. That is definitely something that you would have to keep at. Because I've tried that also.
Yeah.
I'm a mom with 2 teenagers and like 1. Well, they're all in double digits. But we had a bucket.
Yeah.
At a certain time, phone goes in there. I put it high up.
Love.
I can only touch it.
Sure.
But I had to disconnect too.
Sure. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Had to go in the bucket too.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man.
For sure.
Yeah.
So it's like a learning thing for everybody. Like you said, I was in that space too as a educator who had a child who diagnosed with ADHD next to me.
Right.
Make sure he stayed in class, but I'm on with kids like him too.
Right.
So it was definitely it did get overwhelming.
Sure.
You're on electronics 7 hours, 8 hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't realize how much as an adult you needed that break.
Sure.
Too. So you're absolutely right to stay on it, but you have to be consistent with that.
Sure.
Pick a program.
And because it's hard because you got to think about it. So let's say now one of my favorite things to do is I like reading books, but I'm like an audio book person.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. I'm still connected to the phone.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So not all technology is the same, right? Like, so there's some people who have, like my husband is in corporate finance. He's on a computer all day long. That's his job, right? Even if COVID never came, if cell phones never came, he's always going to be on his computer, right? That's not my job. I'm with people. I'm talking to people. I'm doing programs for people. Like, I'm never on a computer for work, right? So, I mean, I do my billing on there and that type of stuff. So some of it is understanding that, but I just listened to, I'm connected to the Digital Wellness Institute, which is where I took my certifications from. It's amazing. Dr. Bobo was on yesterday and he was talking specifically about digital wellness and boundaries. You do have to differentiate some of that. So is reading a book the same as reading a Kindle, the same as listening to a digital, a digital book. And here's the boundary around that. You can say to your kids, hey, I'm listening to a book for entertainment right now. Give me 30 minutes, which is very different than mindlessly scrolling through Instagram.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, because you are aware of what you're doing.
Completely.
When I'm scrolling through Instagram and scrolling through YouTube on shorts, I get lost for about 45 minutes, and and I'm just gone, just in a zone, going through these things, and nothing's being done.
Right. But if you're clear, if you're saying to your friend or saying to your spouse or saying, hey, listen, I need some time alone. I'm going to listen to this audiobook for 30 minutes. Then the people know what you're doing, right? And that feels better, that clarity.
It's more responsible.
Completely responsible technology.
Right. And a lot of our stuff now has those things where you can tune out. Like I'm a do not disturb alarm person.
It never stops for me. It's always a go.
Right.
And so, it's like you said, just building those healthy boundaries. And that's what really it comes to. We got to learn how to be able to build boundaries.
And be firm and be okay. That this is what I'm saying at this time, and don't let anybody come into your bubble.
Right. Yeah. And some of that is that immediate response thing, right? Like, and so I'm the same way. My kids often joke that if something terrible happened to them after 8 p.m., I'm not finding out till 6 a.m.
Exactly. Trust
me.
Exactly. Because actually,
hours.
real talk. Because
real life.
What can you do?
Well, I'm like, if they're dead, they're already dead.
They're already dead. That's exactly how I think. I'm like,
you're in jail, you're still in jail.
I'll see you in the morning. There's nothing you can do. And
people, thank you. Everyone else is looking at me like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they gave you children.
You should never call me at a certain time. It's
right?
Because
prior to this, you didn't find out until the next day. Or, I mean, so some of it is taking ourselves less seriously, understanding that we don't need to instantly respond to people. And some of that, like, I know we've kind of started talking about our kids, but some of that is actually coming from, I think, even from the powers that be. Like, you know, in corporate America, where you've got, you know, people who are above you in positions of power, emailing 24/7, and there's expectation that you're reading and responding, and it's overwhelming.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, and that, just setting boundaries around that. Like, I know a lot of people in the education space where they're getting bombarded by emails on Sunday night. Yeah. You know, before they're back in the claroom. And I know it happens across, I'm speaking of what I know.
But that's serious.
It is serious. It's not, and until we have people who are in positions of power in corporate America, realizing time off is time off. Vacation time is vacation time. You know, work hours are here. And I'm not saying there aren't people that function better, maybe. You know, I know that, like, even in corporate America, people who are working from home, maybe they work better from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's awesome. But don't be sending emails. No, you know, send
or you gotta. And I'm going to check them because I'm not.
Exactly.
It goes back to boundaries.
Boundaries.
It goes back because of what it does is it actually can be like lightweight bullying.
Yes.
And not knowing that because you're telling people to respond to you right there. And some people feel their anxiety.
Completely, I do.
Yeah, like they have to respond. And, you know, with me, I have to tell my friends. I had a friend that something happened to her, and she was, like, ready to respond and react right then and there. And I was like, listen.
Pause.
Breathe for a second. Respond when you want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the answer for somebody right then and there. They want the answer. Let their anxiety build up.
Sure.
Take you a breath. Go and read a book. Don't keep doing exactly what you were doing. Sometimes people text me all kind of crazy times. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not responding to that stuff until I'll get ready to respond to it.
Exactly. The power of the pause is so important, right? Just taking time. And the interesting thing, though, too, and my husband jokes, like, sometimes if we're really clear about boundaries when we're driving, we do not use our cell phones when we're driving. So if I'm driving and I need to communicate, let's say, to a student athlete, I'll be like, hope your day is going well. Smiley face, emoji, happy face. Like, and I have to, like, tell him what emojis. Like, if I was sending that text message to him, it's like, I hope you're okay, like, period, you know? He's like, what are all these emojis? I'm like, I'm communicating with a 16-year-old.
They need emojis.
Exactly.
They're like, oh my God. And, like, she's not mad at me.
Exactly. Because you can't tell tone and texture.
That's the problem. Yes. Because text messaging, you can be having a bad day.
Completely.
I can be sending you something that's perfectly... I'm in a great space.
Right.
And so wrong. And you read it and you're like, oh, so what's wrong with Jarmel today?
Exactly.
And you're ready to go there, and it's like, no, this wasn't what it was. But you're right. And it goes back. Some people need reassurance.
I know,
and that comes with the whole social part of it. Like, I need to put an emoji. Sometimes I put LOL after things, so I won't offend people.
And
so
I find that I'm okay. I'm not mad.
It's exactly right.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I know one person I do that a lot. Yeah. Because they're going to think like, oh, what's wrong with you? Like, hey, no,
right.
I promise you I am.
Yeah.
But for them to know like, oh, okay, she's fine.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
So that's the thing too. We talked about being disconnected, and then we talked about disconnecting. Maybe some of it is really just reevaluating, re-understanding boundaries as it relates to various forms of technology.
Yeah.
You know, what is considered digital well-being as it relates to protocol for email or text message. And So maybe I know we've got a newsletter that we're thinking about putting together.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's just putting together a list of this is great policy for boundaries around phones at home, and this is a great policy to maybe try to implement in the workplace.
Yes.
With some resources. Maybe I can put that together.
Yeah, most definitely. And you know what? With that being said, what we could be able to do is if you guys want to be able to subscribe to get our newsletter, get all the things that you want to be able to give to us, we definitely will leave a link in here so you guys can be able to do that, because we definitely want to be able to get that literature out to people.
Yeah.
Because it's just a thought, but it's also a thing where we want to lead people to resources.
Absolutely.
We don't want you to be able to feel like you're not being able to have a place that you can't go. If you guys want to call us, you guys want to, any type of communication, definitely leave us some literature or leave us a note or leave a message, and we'll definitely get back with you. We want you to know that you're not by yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I know we all three have felt alone in our journeys of where we've been.
Yeah.
And the last thing we want to be able to do is to leave people alone. We're looking for the people who felt just like us. And so, most definitely.
Because, and I know part of the plan is to have a resource page, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's definitely what we want to do. So you definitely can be able to hit that link and be able to get the newsletter and start building this community so we can all be able to, join with each other. Before we sign off for this week, do you ladies have anything that you guys want to say to people for the rest of the week, or just give us some motivation, words of encouragement to, keep this thing going?
Be you, be kind, be free.
I love that.
Be free.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. I think I'm going to give a practical advice. And so I think I would just encourage people to, again, when watching TV, maybe make a new rule, whether it's with your spouse or your friends or, with your kids. Yeah. Just like we're watching this movie, cell phones are away. Or maybe have a tech-free dinner twice a week.
Most definitely.
Those are kind of two things I wanted to kind of point out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I like that, setting routines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think just learn how to step back for a minute. I think for me, that pause. I've had to learn how to be able to just pause.
Yeah.
And I think don't get so caught up in worrying about what others' expectations may be for you.
Truth.
And really just figure out what those expectations look like for you. Mm-hmm. And breathe into it. Do your yoga practice. Bring it all in. Taking it, zenning it in.
Zen it up.
Just breathe. So I just want to leave people with just breathe this week. I think.
Love it.
You can do anything through breath.
Agreed.
So, yes, I think that's what we're going to wrap up with. This wraps and concludes another week of Just a Thought. It is always a blessing to be able to be with you guys. Peace and blessings. Blessings and peace. We'll see you next week on Just a Thought. Peace.
How was it? Just a thought, baby. Yeah. And don't stray too far.